Blog Talk Radio.
Nothing about this life is ever handled when effort is not put forth. Wandering around in a worthless stride, filled with self-pity about being rejected by people who don't really matter. I think I'm going to start this from the beginning because I think Blog Talk Radio is a little slow. Nothing about this life is ever handled when effort is not put forth. Wandering around in a worthless stride, filled with self-pity about being rejected by people who don't matter in the long run, only keeps us from encountering those who do. One thing I've learned is this: you don't have to do all the work in relationships, be they platonic or intimate, because when that relationship is for you, it meets you in the middle most of the times, and the other time, it meets you halfway when necessary. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Season 8, Episode 2 of A Touch of Grace. This is Tuesday, July 23rd. This is the show that we're making up for from last week when we had technical difficulties with the Blog Talk Radio platform. But nevertheless, when something is meant to be, it will be. Today, I have two amazing women joining me on the show. Bonnie Mashack is a published author, counselor, and life coach, and intuitive specialist with 25 years of experience. Kaarin, Alisa, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, is a published author, teacher, and intuitive advisor. Now, the ladies are joining me today to talk about the wise aunties and life. So let me go ahead and bring them on. Hey, Bonnie and Kaarin, how are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Well, you know what? Blog Talk Radio has been good first of all, and so I started my monologue, and then I noticed that the on-air line didn't click on. So I will go ahead and handle that when I go to edit the radio show. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Listening from somebody.
Hey, Glenn, I can't understand a word. There's a lot of static, and I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that might be on your end, Bonnie. Why don't you hang up and call back in?
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Give me a minute. All right.
Okay.
And good morning, Glenn.
Well, hello, Kaarin. How are you?
Oh, I'm very good. And you did pretty good with my name. It's Kaarin Alyssa.
Well, excellent. I'm so glad. I'm not sure where this. Yeah, I'm not sure where this static is coming from. It's crazy.
Oh, are you hearing it? Because I'm hearing you loud and clear.
You are? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I am hearing it. I'm not really sure why. Let me see if Bonnie. Okay, let me see.
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
Bonnie,
much
are
better.
you? It's much better?
Much better, yes.
Okay, fantastic. Well, hopefully it is just in my ear. I'm not sure why, but nevertheless. And thank you, Kaarin, because when I did a video on Facebook, I said Karen. And it said age. Nobody wants to be called Karen. So my apologies there.
No.
Yeah. So, here, let me see how that works. No, this static is still going. Oh, well, I guess we're just going to roll with it, ladies.
Okay.
All right. So, Bonnie and Kaarin, I want to give you each the opportunity to just go ahead and talk a little bit about what you do. I gave a little snippet in the intro. So, Kaarin, since Bonnie and I go way back in time, let's go ahead and start with you, my dear.
Okay. It's such a joy to be here with you today, Glenn. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have you on the show.
Well, glad. I've heard so much about your show, A Touch of Grace, and I'm just delighted to be here with everyone. Got a little frog in my throat, so please forgive me.
That's okay.
Like Bonnie, I've been an intuitive counselor, and I'm also a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and I've been that for about 45 years. So this is all things that I love to do. My life revolves around helping people, around being a clear channel for people who need that. And I just, I can't say anything better about myself than to say that I am willing to give my love and help and support to those who need it.
Well, I could tell you this, Kaarin. The world needs it. The world is just in there's a lot of rage, a lot of anger going on around here. So that's why I love doing these shows and meeting people that are vibing to the level of peace. So thank you so much for that. And Bonnie, I know that we go way back, but for those listeners who don't know who Bonnie Mashack is, I'm going to go ahead and give you your spotlight here. Go for it.
Oh, thank you so much, Glenn. It's such a pleasure to be here. We finally got to connect, and we are so excited to be able to share, with your listeners a little bit about ourselves, how we are available to help if anyone wants to connect with us once the show is ended, and also to talk a little bit about some of the things that we have available to the people. I've been a counselor for almost 30 years, but I've been intuitive since I was a kid. And so I'm just now really starting to make use of the gift that I was blessed with and be able to help, like Kaarin, the people that are in need. Yes, like you said, the world is in need. It's a scary shame, some of the things that are happening, but it's us who bring the light in, who can transform, all that darkness into some light and bring some healing.
I believe that, and I believe that it's something, one of the passages in the Bible that the meek shall inherit the earth. There are parts of the Bible that I just really gravitate to, even though I'm not really religious, but I definitely am very spiritual. So for the listeners out there, I'd like you ladies to talk about what an intuitive specialist is.
Go ahead, Kaarin. I'll let Kaarin go with that.
Okay.
Well, thank you, sweetheart. An intuitive specialist is someone who can listen to the various energies of life that some people may not be connected to. So we can often listen to people who have passed on. We can listen to beings like Jesus who are out there to help. We are from this side of the veil. And we can bring that knowledge and understanding of the mysterious energies around us to help a person unravel what's knotted them up inside. So we may use our just regular counseling skills to do that, and we may bring our intuitive understanding and ability to listen to those other energies into the situation as well. And then, of course, Bonnie knows very good with guided meditation, and I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, so we can help with all kinds of things. We've got ourselves going here with the Wise Aunties, and I just love it because everybody needs a wise auntie.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yes. someone you can go to and ask the serious questions and know that the information you're going to get is just exactly what you need to hear at that moment. And Bonnie and I have recently put out a book, and the title of the book is "What the Hell Are You Waiting For?"
I saw that on your website.
So many people are stopped up. You know, they're like in a bottle with a cork on it, and for some reason they don't want to put the cork out. They don't want to move on with what their dreams are, what they'd really rather be doing. They would rather probably have happiness and love and joy. But, you know, it's about thriving. Thriving is defined as a state in which, you know, we grow and develop, a state in which we prosper and flourish. Thriving is what we long for. When we're not thriving, we're withering. We're allowing that cork on the bottle to just stay tightly closed. But when we let off that cork and we allow more of the fullness of who we are meet the world, then we can start striving for the joy, the happiness, the dreams that we have. Bonnie has got a book that's coming out later this year. Bonnie, I'm sorry. I should have let you say this, but I can't help it because it's a wonderful book she's putting out this year, the second edition of
The Dreams of Mattie Fitch.
The Dreams of Mattie Fitch. And Mattie Fitch says you got to awaken your sleeping dreams. And I know Bonnie's going to talk more about that. But this book that we put out, What the Hell Are You Waiting For?, is all about helping people understand how they start to bring that essence of thriving into their life.
Well, let me ask you both this question, because I myself am the product of counseling. And I'm also clean and sober, learned some things there, too, about mental, and when you talk about people have that quirk that they just leave it there, and it's almost like they're stuck. So based on the people that you have talked to, why do you think, and this might be a rhetorical question, but hopefully it's not, why do you think there is such a fear of people want to first acknowledge that there is an issue? Why do you think so many people overlook the fact that they might need to have some type of intervention, being it hypnosis, be it meditation? Can one of you kind of respond to that and speak on it?
I can. Bonnie,
jump in.
you want?
Yeah, I think, Glenn, a lot of times it's a fear of judgment, and and people, it's better to keep it a secret. If you don't know what my problems are, then you can't judge me. And people feel sometimes that, say for instance, like you're clean and sober. But how long did it take you to really admit that you were, that you had an issue? Because typically there's a fear of judgment. I don't want to share this because what if I fail? And what if I'm not able to keep it up? And a lot of my clients that I've spoken to feel that, they don't want to fail. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to
be vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is. It's about taking that veil off and exposing your dirty laundry to a person or people that you don't know. But once you're willing to do that, once you're willing to know that you're in a safe place, this is a safe space for you to be who you are and just let it all out, then that's the first step to healing.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this question, because, like I said, I'm a product of therapy, and I've been using meditation for the past probably 3-4 years because I picked that up in recovery. How, if I was clogged up and I came to you, can you walk me through the process of some of the questions you would ask me to put me at ease? And, well, let's stop right there. Can you respond to that question?
Yeah, go ahead, Bonnie.
I would first ask you what brought you here. Mm-hmm. What brought you into therapy? What is it that you're seeking to find out about yourself?
Excellent.
That has brought you to me? Because I believe there are no mistakes. Mm-hmm. And I feel a connection between 2 people, 3 people, there's always a reason for it. Mm. And that's where I would start. Is tell me what brought you here, Glenn? Mm. Why did you choose to come into therapy? And that's where we start, and you would explain to me why you did it. And then I would build kind of like you want to build a relationship with your client.
Right.
By starting off, making them understand that, okay, I know why you're here now. And know that this is a safe space. This is confidential. Mm-hmm. You know, and you are free to share everything that you feel that you need to share, and even some things that you never thought you would share.
Mm-hmm. Very important.
But I think there's special people that go into counseling and into that are intuitive. We have a gift that makes people feel comfortable. Because we don't just see you with the physical eye, we see you with that spiritual eye. Mm. We're able to see you rather than see you.
And you know, it's funny. I think one of you, I think you had posed a question of how many attempts did it take before I knew. And ironically, I remember I was a teenager. With my first suicide attempt. And I remember my mom, I remember going to counseling. I can't remember a lot. I think that was the first introduction to it, but I don't think that I was old enough to understand what I was supposed to be getting out of it until much later in life. I think it started with like some self-esteem class that I went with a friend of mine that kind of opened the doors that way. So with a person who doesn't quite know what's wrong with them, is there a technique that you use to help them find? Because sometimes people just don't even know why they're walking around sad,
right?
Why they're walking around angry, why they are walking around feeling worthless.
You thank them, right, Kaarin? You thank them for coming. You thank them for having the strength to come in. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Kaarin. I know you started to say something.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I was going to say there are so many ways to allow a person to begin to speak their truth. And I find that one of the best ways, if somebody is really tied up and they can't say anything or they don't even know, they're so confused, we take them down into a little guided meditation. And in the guided meditation, they are allowed to see more for themselves than they might see in their completely confused state. Mm-hmm. And they can begin to talk. I have never I say never, but you should never say never. Knock on wood. But I really have never known a client to not find an opening if they need it to go into a guided meditation and help them find the truth that's inside their heart, connecting to their heart, because that's our truth meter. Our heart tells us what's right and what's wrong, and it is the most misunderstood organ on earth. Our heart.
Yeah.
We think it just pumps our blood. Oh, no. It does a whole lot more than that. It creates our magnetic field. That which other people find attractive is our magnetic field, and when it's larger, it does that attraction. If people are looking to get something out of, say, the law of manifestation, the law of holism, all of these rely upon the heart to become magnet.
Which is like, so pretty much, I didn't mean to interrupt you, which is emotion, is what you're talking about. Right. The emotion that comes from the heart.
Lots of emotion, yeah, until they are freed up from everything that's holding them down and keeping them from flourishing, then, they're going to have a lot of emotion.
Yeah, and another thing, Kaarin, if I could just to let them know it's okay not to have all the answers right now. It's okay not to know why you're here.
Yes.
Because a lot of people feel uncertain about why they're there at first.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And it's an opportunity to explore, what brought them here. Right?
And I didn't mean, and I don't mean to interrupt either. This is some good stuff. I love therapy talk, and I missed it. I took part in one-on-one therapy. I've taken part in group therapy. But before I forget, my old head forgets meditation. So a couple about 3 or 4 years ago, I found Bob Ross, the painter, who I had found a few years back. But now with YouTube, I get to listen to him. So what I use meditation for, and what I have to do on a daily basis sometimes for hours, is I have to listen to just his brushstroke and him talking about the trees and the birds and stuff to slow my mind down. So with your expertise, there's certain levels of meditation. Am I correct?
Oh, yes, very much so.
Oh, yes.
You can take meditation all the way to where we are producing theta waves, which are the slowest. Well, they're not the slowest, but they're almost the slowest. Gamma rays are slower than that. But gamma rays produce those aha moments, But we can all the way down into theta. But if we can just help them calm enough to get out of beta, which is where we mostly live in our lifetimes. And if you're in a monkey mind, you're definitely in beta. We want to get you into alpha.
Monkey mind, I like that.
Where you can calm yourself. Yeah. We don't like the monkey mind. But we all have it once in a while. Right.
Yeah, and also... And also,
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Bonnie.
No, I was just going to give you, there's several different times. There's mindfulness meditation, there's body scan, there's guided, there's transcendental meditation, Zen meditation, there's all kinds
of
different
meditation.
Movement, yes, breathing. There's so many, and visualization, which I love the most. I love to use visualization meditation. I don't know if you're familiar, like, with the different movement meditation, chakra meditation. There's all kinds of grants that you can use for clients.
I got chill bumps listening to you talk about all those, because when I go back and listen to the show, I'm gonna start Googling. This is why I was excited.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I use meditation based on what I see my clients' needs are.
Yes.
And I also like to use aromatherapy, the scents and the candles and the certain smells that I know I use a lot because I also, I'm an educator, and I work with the students and the kids, and I will often use different smells, lavenders and peppermints and smells like that. Bring the kids back into themselves, a lot of times. So, there are so many different forms of meditation and other techniques that you can use.
And also, I would imagine that age also, how far a person has matured, and based off of your expertise, you kind of know which one to try for someone that is young.
Yeah, 12-year-olds. I work with kids, a lot of students. I mean, in my private practice, I work with more adults, but I use more guided imagery, a guided meditation and breathing. Teenagers can use mindfulness and loving kindness meditation, and even movement. So it just depends on the age. You're absolutely right.
But you know what? One thing that your question brought to my mind, Glenn, is that we could be mature in age, but not necessarily mature in all of our parts.
I absolutely agree.
Somebody may be experiencing acting out, yelling at their children, yelling at their partner, or engaging in addictions. And that's because some part of them is stuck. So it's also a matter of finding out where this person is in their life, and we're each unique, 100% unique. And I'm not going to find in you what I would find in another person.
So true.
So in a safe place that Bonnie and I create, it allows a person's parts to come out. Again, because as Bonnie said, there's no judgment.
If here's something else that I want to talk about too, while I've got you two experts here on the horn here, grief, illness. I talk a little bit about emotional intelligence when I'm doing my little snippets and when I do my post on Facebook. What is your take on getting through like illness that's terminal, and then you're in a place where people are kind of on the attack, very highly emotional, very irrational, and you're in the middle trying to keep your calm? What are your thoughts about that emotion?
So if I'm understanding your question, Glenn, you're saying somebody has come to me and then they become very emotional and maybe abusive. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, maybe not. Let me reset it up. Why? I guess that the question that I have is, and I don't know if it's just an individual thing, but why is it that I understand young people, but why some older people who have gone through death, why they have such a hard time accepting it being a part of life, and some people allow it to destroy them, or they walk around and they're very angry. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes. And one of the things I'm going to bring up is I do channel Jesus. I call him Yeshua because that was his Hebrew name. And Yeshua has said very clearly that if you are stuck in the grief cycle, it's because you are afraid that the world cannot give you back that which you have lost. It can't bring you back to life. Yeah. And so it's fear. Fear is at the root of it. So at that point, I start working with their fear.
I like how you said that. The fear of not getting back what was taken from you. That is so profound.
Absolutely, absolutely. And not believing that there's something else after you die.
Mm-hmm.
Not the reassurance is not there. Even I know very many Christians, with the quote, who are afraid to die because they are not. They say that they believe in, the everything, Jesus and God and the whole universe and but of dying, they're not comfortable with because they don't believe that there's something better later, and they're not sure of where their loved ones have gone.
Right.
Yeah. And are they really going to be able to reunite? Yeah. It's just we are divine. We humans are divine.
Yes, I believe that.
Yes, we can touch into that divinity. And so if someone were in that state that you and Bonnie were just talking about, I would begin to help them see the divinity, the God that is within them. So once they find and touch that, my experience with people is that when they really do touch that divinity within, there's no doubt that our Creator has given us longer life than just what's here in the body.
I love that. I got chill. I've had so many chill bumps talking to you two ladies because I'm vibing at that level. And Bonnie, you know that I've had death, kind of recent in the past few years, and it's just like back to back to back. But then I know, Bonnie, that your family has experienced it early on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I know that, me living a few houses down and you on the corner, there was always some type of light that was always around you anyway. So, yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it is, and so my question is this: why do you think it? Well, maybe it's two parts. Some of us come here with it already.
Yeah.
And we may not know about it, and something activates it to get us out of that beta mode. I think I'm referencing that right. Why do you think that is? Why do you think? Because whenever I am talking to a young person, and I love being around young people, even though they're unreliable, they don't come to work, they be late, they have their own thought process, but I can also identify an old soul. And I think you guys have heard that term before. They're 21 years old, but there's something about them that's an old soul. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we've all met those people, and of course I've met that in my sweet business partner with Wise Aunties here. We were an old soul there.
Glenn, I knew there was something about me when I was a child. I remember one time seeing a being. I won't say it was a ghost because it glowed and it lit up like the entire house. And I woke up and I looked and I was void of speaking. I was trying to scream out and I couldn't. I was about 8. And it was it just glowed. It was white. And it reached out to me and scared the bejesus out of me. I jumped over my sister Pam, pulled the covers over my head, said, I don't know what this is, but help me, whatever it was. And I pulled it back, and I knew then there was something about me because I could draw things to me. I drew people to me. Everybody told me their problems. Everybody wanted my help. Everybody wanted Bonnie to answer. Why is it like this? Why? Whatever. What is going on? My grandmother used to say that I had the gift. I was like an old soul, like you said, that I had been here before,
Yeah.
And I always was told there was something about my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that I could look at people and tell what they were. I could feel them.
Kind of empathic.
Yes, and I could feel that. My hands used to get. I wrote in one of my books called The Life Chronicles that my hands used to get hot like fire. I'm telling you, my hands would get hot like fire. And one time at the hospital when my grandmother was ill, I was told that this woman was crying, saying her husband was dying, and Spirit spoke to me. I was only like 16.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying hard not to listen to my intuition at that time. I was young, I didn't know what this was. And the Spirit spoke and said, go with her to her husband's room, put your hands on his chest, and say, and at that time my hands started to heat up, and say, in the name of Jesus, you are healed. Well, my 16-year-old self was like, oh, no, I'm not. This woman think I'm crazy.
Love it.
Are you kidding me? You think I'm crazy. So I didn't do it, and instantly my hands got cold, and they never got hot again. It was as if I was not obedient to the Spirit that spoke to me.
That's it.
And I lost that. I would say I didn't lose that gift. It was just taken from me at that time because I was too young to understand what it was I was supposed to do. And recently I had an experience with a woman who has stage 3 pancreatic cancer. And she was sitting next to me and she was crying and she was telling me how, they saying they don't know what's going to happen. And Spirit spoke to me and said, touch her stomach and begin to pray. What did I do? I touched her stomach and began to pray. She began to weep and said, oh, my God, thank you, because that was not really her religion. She was Indian. She's Hindu,
Right.
So she was not expecting that from me, but I was obedient to that. And I truly believe that God would honor, that prayer, So it's about, and thank you, Glenn. You don't think people ever pay attention to what you're doing, but they do. People see you.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Thank you. That's what it's about. It's about seeing someone. So with that third eye.
Yeah, that third eye. Yeah, I have to tell you that I am protective of peace. Like I said, there are encounters I don't do well with, and I never have, with physical violence. I don't do well with somebody cursing at me and communicating with me that way, and or being very aggressive or belittling. And working in corporate, I encountered that. This is before I myself found my enlightenment and what it was all about. But I'm very protective of that right now. And so I don't live in a bubble. But what I do is, and I've been writing about this in my blog, is that I know my tribe. Tribe isn't always blood. It's not always blood. Sometimes having the same bloodline, it doesn't mean that you have to be with each other all the time, or maybe not even at all, because you have two sets of different value. And my thoughts are this, and maybe it's kind of wrong, but I don't know, but this is how I'm rolling, is that blood or not, if it's too toxic for me, you can't be in my life. So So is that something that is okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my! That's called being
It's spiritual
intelligence.
Ooh, spiritual intelligence.
Right,
I
Corinne?
like
That's
that one.
spiritual intelligence. Yeah. Protecting your peace. Absolutely. If anything's going to shake you, you drop it like it's a bad habit.
Yeah.
No.
I love it. I love it. So let me ask you
Yes.
this question. When was the Wise Aunties started? I mean, how did you guys meet each other?
Oh, my God.
Oh, goodness. Bonnie, you want to tell that wonderful story?
Oh, my Lord. I knew she was going to tell me to tell the story. Oh, Glenn. It
Yes.
almost, when I talk about this story, it's hard for me because I get emotional.
That's
because
all right.
This
is a safe space.
But it was nothing but spirit that had to do with Kaarin and I meeting. Both of us were writing books at the time. Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield, as you know, who did the Chicken Soup for the Soul series.
Yes.
Used to do these book writing seminars, and lo and behold, Kaarin and I ended up at one in Los Angeles. Yeah, I mean, you saw everybody, all the authors from The Secret, and all those people are all at these things, and we were like, whoa, yes. This was 2005.
Yeah.
And we were both there. I'm sitting in the dining room of the hotel having breakfast before the seminar starts. In walks this big, beautiful light, bright red hair, and Kaarin is a very large woman and very present. You know her when she walks in the room. And so Kaarin was standing in the doorway looking to sit. And I'm going to tell you that, and I know Kaarin and I have shared this before, and she doesn't mind. Kaarin would be what the world considers obese.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I can relate because I'm obese too.
And Kaarin was looking around for a place to sit, and I'm looking at all the people with empty chairs and things, and acting as if Kaarin was invisible.
Yeah. And
Spirit spoke to me and said, you beckon her over to your table and have her sit down. So I waved, got her attention, and I said, come over here and sit with me. And my life has been changed ever since.
Yeah, I have tears in my eyes. I think that's so beautiful.
Kaarin and I happen to have the exact same birthday. She's a little bit older than me, but we have the same birthday. And Kaarin had these things called Rebecca cards that she had created. And she said, pick a card. And so I said, oh, okay. That was, I'm always open to something. So I picked a card, and the card that I picked, Glenn, was the Phoenix.
The
rising
wings of
from
fire.
From the ashes.
Wings of fire.
Rising from the ashes. Yes,
yes,
the wings of fire. And we've been friends ever since. Always talking about getting together and building a business and doing this. And here we are almost 20 years later. We just started. We put ourselves to the test. Different things would happen when we were trying it. I would get sick. She would get sick. That it was always something that tried to step in and keep us from doing this work together. Even now, Kaarin is ill, but I'm loving how she sounds so vibrant today. She's been ill for the past month or so, we've had so much work to do. It was difficult for her to say, "Hell, are you waiting for?" Because she has not been well. But it's always like the enemy wants to come in and keep us from doing the work that we are charted to do. And
I believe that.
So
I do.
We started off as the opportunity coaches. We were the opportunity. We'll give you the opportunity to come in and change your life. And we went to a coaching, and a young man named Jason Schumann. He said anybody could be an opportunity coach. He said, but I looked through you guys' things, and you guys are wise like aunties. You'd be like my aunt that I'd want to come and talk to. And
wow.
And it has changed us.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
I tell
how
you right
we
now.
got where we are.
Well, I tell you right now, this interview is another feather in the headrest that I wear of this thing called life. And when you mentioned Kaarin and, you know, what you saw from people, I think that is the thing that just is unnerving about the world, and it's hard to not walk around and be frustrated and angry. So that's why I do a lot of meditation too and listening to Bob Ross, because people can disappoint me so much sometimes. Now, there's this guy at work. I wonder if he's going to even listen to this. His name's Kevin. Big guy, larger than life. Kevin's heart. Oh, my God. I was going through some financial difficulties, and and by the way, my tribe has really helped me through a lot these past few months. So shout out to all my tribe. I don't have to name them. They know who they are. But this Kevin, he comes with this big box of top ramen noodle, right? And I go, what's this, Kev? Well, you have to eat. It may not be healthy for you, but at least you won't go hungry. You know, so he knows, you know, and so, and he walked around, here, I know that you need this, so I don't really have financial, but here, let me give you this so you can eat. And so for me and for me and how I exist, and this man, and he's religious, you know, or I should say spiritual, but he is such a larger-than-life character and so kind. And I know that I draw a lot of kind people into my life now. Whereas
finds like, and
yes,
like finds like.
Well, yeah, I honestly believe that, and so that's why I said, you know, with everything that's going through now, I work with a lot of light. Like I like going to work, you know, except for when I've been off 2 days, I get lazy, but I am drawn to different cultures. I believe that religion, for its purpose, was meant to be love, not judgment, accepting and kind. And that's why I said I'm going to really enjoy this interview when I go back and listen to it. Hopefully the static is not listening. But let's talk about, Bonnie, The Dreams of Mattie Fitch. I have that book. I think I have that book. I think it's in where I hide all my stuff, my collectibles. So The Dreams of Mattie Fitch 2, has it completed?
Just about. She's just about done with editing. Again, we've got a new book cover for her. I finally was able to. Yes, my new book cover, because she's such an amazing young woman who is going to bring some light and healing to the world. And hopefully this time she'll get the notoriety that she's due.
I love it.
Oh, I believe she will. Absolutely.
Sitting in the corner sulking, you know, fussing at me about why, you know, I hadn't waited so long to get her out here again. And everybody that reads the book really sees the spiritual connotations in the book. You know, she's an angel. You know, she's 12. She drowned, went into a coma. You know, while in that dream state, even though it would be considered death, she's healing the minds and the hearts of those who are in need. Kind of like what I do for a living, you know. We try to, you know, heal the hearts and minds of those that are hurting. And you know, without judgment, without love. And the beautiful thing about Mattie is that she's able to transform into whatever it is you need. You need a grandmother, she will become a grandmother.
Wow.
You need Mattie as her 12-year-old self, she's 12. You need her as a 30-year-old white woman, she'll be that too. And she's a little black girl, you know. She's whoever you need her to be at the time when you are suffering.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. It's a beautiful story.
Yeah, and you know, I could see younger people because I hope this is not pursuing a tangent. I think that the joy, even though it wasn't perfect, being young, is that we didn't have access to as many things as these kids do today. So I can always tell a young person, like my roommate, his grandson, when he comes over, very innocent. It seems to me like young people aren't given long enough time to be innocent before they have a cell phone in their hand. It has too much information on that for one person. If the kid has to have a phone, give them a flip phone, okay? Because you can't be with kids 24/7. And the thing is, I think if you tap into adult themes too early, you kind of have to, I don't know, go to counseling to kind of reshape your understanding of it. Because most certainly when we're younger, we don't see the world like we do when we get older.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So, okay, well, I'm looking.
I was going to say, the world being so hypersexualized at such a young age, you know, it has caused children now. They're moving into puberty at an earlier and earlier date, and it's because of that hypersexualization around us.
Yeah, exactly. And here's another thing I want to tap on. When we were younger, and my parents would have adults over, and we come in there, they give us that look. What do you want? This is adult in here. You don't need to be in here, right?
Right.
And I know that. So in addition to the cell phone or the smartphone, you know, a lot of these kids are being exposed to so much, too many adult situations, and to me, it creates for a wild soul that's wild. It could be rage. It could be, because I'm seeing more and more kids, like, you know, shooting up their school. You know, now, I was bullied, but I didn't want to go shoot up my school.
Right.
You know, where does that even come from? Where does that thought even come from?
Right. And I just think that that it's really a sad way, but I am an optimist. I see the glass as half full as opposed to half empty. And like I said, I do this meditation thing. So my hope is that somebody listening, and it's something that I write about all the time, you know, finding your tribe, you know, getting in touch with your spiritual self. I think it's so important. For each and every person, too, you know, because there's so much being hurled around out there right now. Not all of it is good for us, really.
No, that's true. Right. Absolutely. Not even that within spirituality is good for us.
Right.
You know, we have discernment, and that's one thing that's lacking as well. Bonnie, do you see that people come for help, they don't have good discernment?
Oh, yeah. That's I think that's number one. That's why they come, I believe, is because they need someone to help them figure out, you know, what it is that they're missing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the transformation is available to people. They just have to go get it.
Absolutely.
One
and
of
they
my
have.
favorite. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like Glenn said earlier, one of his favorite scriptures, and he told us that one. One of mine is, be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one.
To renew your mind. It's very easy. Yeah. Transformation, you know. Stop what you're doing right now and know that there's a different way to do it.
And also, if I could throw another thing in there to tag in on that, patience. You're not going to go to a therapist or an intuitive specialist and the first couple of times or 12th time. You know, wouldn't you both say that it's a process, and we all get there in our own time?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can say with all certainty that when you begin to let go of the fear, this goes back to what Bonnie was talking about at the beginning, you let go of the fear that you're holding inside about the world around you and about the fear of failure or the fear of success or whatever your fear is, the fear of letting. You get rid of the fear, you begin to see the world anew. You renew your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is at the base of almost everything. So
I agree.
If people out there listening to us, if they can begin to let go of their fear, oh boy, life is going to change quick.
It is. And I want to tag on to something else, too. I always reflect back on my sobriety. So the first time I attempted that, I was still living next door in a cottage on that property to my drug dealer, okay? So, you know, when I would come from Kaiser, CDRP, I'm all fresh and new because, you know, I haven't touched anything, and I'm surrounded by a lot of people that are going to meetings and everything like that. I come back, I cleaned my house up because it was a pigsty, I got the door open, and God rest his soul, and I hope he finds peace wherever he went, but, you know, the blocking of my car, and there were always things that this person would do, and I'm not blaming him because I was the one that eventually succumbed to it. But my healing began when I relapsed, and it was a lot worse. And I'll never forget that morning because I knew, because the seed had already been planted, I knew where to go to get help. You know, and so I drove to the hospital myself and sat in that parking lot until everything opened up. And that's when it all began. But the thing that I did not do, I did not go back to East Palo Alto. What I did, whatever I had left, I took it with me, and I was out of a hotel, well, cheap old hotel for a minute, you know. But I had to leave that place where there was a lot of temptation, where my spirit was unsettled, and I had to get out. And the only time I ever went back was to see my aunt before she passed, and I didn't spend that much time there. And where I'm at on this journey, you know, I know that I don't need to be around people that's doing that, you know, to each his own. And I don't go to parties or clubs because, to me, why am I going a place because I'm more of an introvert? As opposed to, and I found something else out, I've always been an introvert, and one of the reasons why I started drinking is because it let me loose, so that it threw away my inhibitions as opposed to just accepting that I was an introvert, that I didn't like crowds. And that's okay. You know, small little settings, that's one thing. But, you know, so, again, when I say that it's a process, and you both agree, it is a process. You find out something each and every time you invest in yourself.
Self-acceptance.
And if I could again bring in a quote from Yeshua, he says, "Never give up on another process because start over. Never give up on another person because, like yourself, they are in process."
Yeah. I can relate to that. And I'll tap on to something else too about that, because once I got clean, I was in the mental health substance abuse. I did that for 5 years before I burned out on it. I believe that people that stay in that, they're supposed to be there. Me, it kind of wore me out after 5 years. I put my time in. I helped as many people as I possibly could, and then I stepped away from it because my spirit is too much of an empath. And those stories and, you know, hearing people shooting up on the phone, it was too much for me. But there are definitely people that are meant for that, and they really got a lot of people out of it. So, all right, well, it has been an incredible hour. Is there anything that we have not discussed that you would like to discuss?
Well, I'll tell you, I would like everybody to know that they can go to wiseaunties.com and sign up for our newsletter. And goodness gracious, if they do that, they're going to learn about all the wonderful classes and books and everything that we're putting out.
Right, and let me, for those that are listening, it's www.thewiseaunties.com. You two, incredible women. I want to say from the bottom of my heart, I needed you today. I hope that I did you justice here on this show. And
oh, yes, Glenn.
Yeah, and most certainly you are welcome back. And if you guys wind up going to another get-together with authors or whatever, let me know. Yeah, because I learned something about that with, who was it that I was talking to? The last person I interviewed, William Frederick Cooper, he said, I went on this writer's retreat. I'm like, I've never even heard of a writer's retreat, and now now talking to you guys to see that was something similar. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, those are amazing. And the last thing I'll say is a quote from Mattie Fitch is, just because you wake up doesn't mean you stop dreaming.
I love it. Well, I want to say thank you both so much for the light that you are shedding out here in this chaotic world. You're God sent. I can't pronounce Yahshua. Is that how you pronounce it? Yeshua. Okay.
Yeah.
And I've heard
S-H-U-A.
And I've heard that term before. I believe they say that is his real name. So
that's his real name.
All right. So before we go, any final thoughts from you individually?
Oh gosh, we're here too. I'm grateful. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, we're very grateful for you. Please go to Amazon and get the book. What the hell you waiting for? It's your guide to awaken your passion, intentions, and dreams to manifest your inner freedom. Support the Wise Aunties. We're here for you, and we're going to start our blog soon and our podcast. So hopefully we'll have Glenn on.
Yeah, I would love that. And another thing, too, when you get I'll already put the wiseaunties.com link onto my blog, Beautiful Soul. So you guys have a beautiful, beautiful day. Kaarin, I'm keeping you in my prayers because I hear that you're battling some illness. So I'm keeping you in my prayers, and hopefully I'll get to meet you one day.
Thank you very much. I look forward to that. And bless you.
Well, bless you, too. You guys have a wonderful day, okay?
Glenn, for having us.
You're welcome. You take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, everybody. Wow. Did I love that? I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Okay, so on a final note, let me get my mood music here together. Kaarin and Bonnie, I had chill bumps through that whole... It was almost as if it was Kismet, so I really appreciate them being on the show. So I'm going to leave you with this. All are dust from a higher power's creation and will return to dust when it is all said and done. Like I've mentioned before, my way is not the only way. However, you owe it to yourself to stand in your own truth. It takes courage to live free outside of judgment, ridicule, and this is a side one, homophobia, bigotry, misogyny. But the choice is yours. You either want to live free or be free after you die. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to A Touch of Grace with Glenn Grace. I appreciate those who listen. most certainly, I'm hoping that those who listen today will reach out to Bonnie and Kaarin. But they are definitely lights in this world right now. Need a lot of it. God bless. Carpe diem equals live your life. Take care.
Nice work today, team. Let's wrap up early and head to Casino Matrix for some cards.
Feeling lucky, boss?
Oh, yes. Dodged rush hour, avoided clicking send on a disastrous reply all email. I'm one shy of a winning streak.
I can't, boss. I still have to send out 2 invoices.
Already sent them.
Let's go!
And I still have to watch those safety videos.
Workplace safety is important, Carol. But at Casino Matrix, there's no work, just play. Texas Hold'em and Blackjack.
You're the boss.
Casino Matrix. 49 tables, 4 dining concepts. Open 24/7. Just drop in. Please gamble responsibly. Problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm Victoria Cash, and I want to invite you to a place called Lucky Land, where you can play over 100 social casino-style games for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. So what are you waiting for? The best way to discover your luck is to spin. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com, that's LuckyLandSlots.com, and get lucky today. At Lucky Land.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.